Let's talk markets now, specifically retail trading activity, retail investors. For that, we have Kinahan, CEO of IG North America. It's all tech. I don't know. We were talking about it earlier, JJ, whether that should give you cause for concern that it's all tech, or whether it's, well, where else is it going to be? These are our greatest companies. But you point out that even two of the big gainers in the past couple of months, Apple and Tesla, there's been some slowing even there in the last couple of days.
There has been, Joe, but where people are putting it is kind of back into big tech. AMD has been one of the primary recipients of that, as people have really come in to buy that stock in an incredible way. But, you know, it's interesting. You just got done talking about Pfizer and Lilly. Actually, Lilly is a stock, Joe, where over the last 2 weeks, we have really seen a lot of bullish activity overall as people continue. You know, they just bought Morphic, which is the company that helps with autoimmune diseases. You guys just got done talking about some of the weight loss stuff, et cetera. So I find that stock pretty interesting, a little bit away from the technology sector. And the other one is Vistra Energy. In fact, that's a stock where 92% of the activity over the last week and a half has actually been bullish activity. It's a stock that's doubled in the last few months. It's really been an incredible story, and I know you guys have talked about that over the last few days. So, you know, a couple of non-tech names, and then tech, as you said, we've seen some sellers of Tesla and Apple, AMD being the primary recipient, but the other names that everybody follows that have been big recipients of that have been Amazon and Microsoft. In terms of where people are buying overall as this incredible rally continues. But what I do find interesting that we've started to see more in the last few weeks than I think we saw throughout this rally is people taking profits. Even a stock like Costco over the last few days, and again, they had another leg up with that news yesterday. People are actually selling the stock, taking profits, and looking for other places to go with the money. So and not necessarily redeploying the full amount of money also. So I think that's also going to be interesting. Can we continue the rally if that continues?
So we've gone this far, and last year was great too, but people still say there's a lot of cash on the sidelines. Does that explain this just every day? It's almost like, you know, you wake up and the futures are up almost every day. There's no volatility. There's no not only no 10% correction, there's no 3% corrections. It doesn't seem like. And what about sentiment? Are people bored, scared, complacent? What are they?
Well, I think maybe a little bit complacent. You know, it's interesting you bring up volatility. Obviously, as we look at the VIX, it's still just under 13. And what's really interesting is if you look not only at retail, but activity overall, there just doesn't seem to be this need or desire to really protect much of the downside. Let's face it, if you have been protecting the downside, it's been costing you money month after month or whatever your timing is in terms of buying any puts, et cetera, against your position. So we'll see if there's any scare at all. And I think it's a bit of a head scratcher. Joe, you and I have been doing this a long time. If I'd have told you a year ago that we have a presidential election with all the strange manipulations it's had over the last few days, we still have conflicts going on with the Israeli-Palestinian situation, with Russia, Ukraine, I don't think either one of us would have said, well, yeah, sure, volatility will be completely low and we'll have set our 37th new high in the S&P 500 yesterday. It really is absolutely mind-boggling. And as you said, it doesn't even seem to be that we are slowing down. The path of least resistance continues to be to the upside because, as you said, people still aren't true believers that we have to continue higher.
I mean, does it all, can you make a case, a bullish case for why the market keeps going up other than there's a lot of liquidity still around? I mean, the Fed drained some of the liquidity. The Fed's been, you know, raised interest rates. The stimulus from the pandemic, all the fiscal spending, maybe that's still happening because some of those programs are multi-year programs. Maybe there's some of that, but you wouldn't necessarily say earnings have not justified the move in the markets. The earnings have kind of come through for the stocks that have done the best. The earnings have been there for underlying the moves in those stocks.
Yeah, and they've not only beaten earnings, Joe, they've kind of blown them away. If you look at, you know, stocks like NVIDIA, et cetera, in terms of what they've done versus earnings. So you are making the case in those big stocks doing so. And again, if you look around, where else would people sort of go with their money right now, I think is the other question right now. The constant, back and forth in terms of will we cut rates, will we won't, how many months have you been talking, think about going into December of last year, how many cuts everybody expected. I think it made people a little bit leery, if you will, of the fixed income market overall. And so, we're still having that same conversation as we see September with about just over a 75% probability of a rate cut. And so, again, I think part of it is people are like, okay, stocks are still the best game in town. It's proved to be absolutely true. But to the point you made earlier, are people necessarily piling into stocks and feeling like I have to buy more, I have to buy more? And the answer to that is no. That's actually very healthy for the market, and it is why the market can continue to go higher. The amount of competition out there for the money is continuing to dwindle. And again, when people talk about, well, there's only 7 or 10 stocks that are really driving this, and I think if you look, it kind of makes sense, just like everything else in life. The competition sort of says, this is where I want to be.